Senior engineer Marcus Hayes rubbed his tired eyes, the holographic displays casting a soft blue glow across his weathered face. The midnight shift at New Hudson's Central Command was usually quiet, perfect for catching up on system diagnostics and enjoying the view of Kepler 186f's twin moons through the panoramic windows. "Hey Marcus, your coffee's getting cold," called out Jessica Thompson from the Environmental Control Station. "You've been staring at that same screen for 20 minutes. He reached for the mug, not taking his eyes off the long-range sensor display. Something felt wrong. The quantum interference patterns at the edge of their detection range showed subtle distortions that shouldn't be there. After 15 years of monitoring colony space, he'd developed an almost supernatural sense for anomalies. "Run a Level 2 diagnostic on Grid 7. He called out to the station's focus on gravitational microfluctuations. The results came back within seconds. Nothing. But the nagging feeling wouldn't leave him. New Hudson had grown from a simple mining operation to humanity's greatest achievement beyond Sol. 500,000 souls living in harmony under the red dwarf's light. They'd just celebrated their golden jubilee last week, marking 50 years of independence from Earth oversight. The first warning came not from their sensors, but from the colony's livestock. In the agricultural dome 3 kilometers away, every animal suddenly went silent. Marcus noticed it on the environmental feeds, the usually steady background noise of their biological systems dropping to zero. Then he saw it. The space above New Hudson tore open like wrapping paper, reality itself shredding as massive ships emerged. They were beautiful in a terrible way. Crystalline structures that seemed to bend light around them, each one larger than Earth's biggest space stations. "Emergency Protocol Alpha," Marcus shouted, his hand slamming down on the colony-wide alert system. "This is not a drill. All citizens to emergency shelters." The response was immediate. New Hudson's defense grid powered up, particle beam arrays and antimatter missiles deploying from hidden silos. The colony's shield network, designed to withstand solar flares and meteor impacts, hummed to life. It wasn't nearly enough. The first alien weapon fired. A beam of what looked like liquid starlight. It passed through their strongest shields as if they weren't there, turning the colony's main power plant into subatomic particles. Secondary explosions rippled through the industrial sector. "Get me Earth Command," Marcus ordered, his fingers flying over the controls. "Priority 1 quantum channel." Jessica was already there. "Channels ready. But the time lag. Won't matter if we're dead." He cut her off. "This is Senior Engineer Marcus Hayes, New Hudson Colony. We are under attack by unknown hostile forces. Their technology far exceeds our defensive capabilities. Transmitting all sensor data now." The alien fleet moved with terrible precision, methodically targeting critical infrastructure. They weren't just attacking. They were taking apart the colony like a surgeon removing a tumor. Each strike eliminated another system that might let someone escape. Marcus watched the population numbers on his display dropping. 497,000, 482,000, 450,000. Each digit represented families, dreams, generations of human achievement being erased. "Quantum beacon ready," Jessica shouted over the sound of failing systems. "But we need 10 minutes to load the complete data package." Marcus looked at the alien ships through the command center's windows. At their current rate of destruction, they had maybe 2 minutes left. He made his decision. "Get to the emergency shuttle," he told Jessica. "I'll handle the upload." "Marcus." "That's an order, Lieutenant Thompson. Someone needs to tell Earth what really happened here." As Jessica reluctantly headed for the escape pod, Marcus initiated his final protocol. He connected his neural interface directly to the quantum beacon, bypassing safety systems. The pain was immediate and searing as his mind's processing power was redirected to data compression. Through blurring vision, He saw the alien ships positioning themselves for their final attack. But he smiled because the upload bar had just hit 100%. "Message sent," he whispered, blood trickling from his nose. "Your move, Earth." The command center, and the last human witness to New Hudson's fall, vanished in a flash of alien fire, but racing away through quantum space, faster than light or time, a small beacon carried humanity's first and last glimpse of their new enemy. The silent night had ended. The time for silence was over. Admiral Jackson Torres stood at the window of his Pentagon office, Washington's lights twinkling below like earthbound stars. The quantum beacon from New Hudson had arrived 3 hours ago, its message burning through every defense network from Luna to Earth. Now, he watched the recording for the 19th time, his coffee long cold on his desk. "Play it again," he ordered. "Focus on time index 2347. A holographic display flickered to life, showing the crystalline ships during their initial attack run. Something about their formation nagged at his military-trained mind. The aliens were too perfect, too precise in their movements. "Computer, overlay historical battle patterns. Focus on naval warfare, specifically submarine warfare tactics from 1940 to 1960. The AI compiled the data, creating a ghostly overlay of historical combat maneuvers atop the alien attack formation. Torres's eyes widened. "There," he whispered. "They're using a wolf pack formation, modified for three-dimensional space, but the basic pattern." He trailed off as the implications hit him. The door to his office slid open. General Sarah Martinez entered, her uniform showing signs of a long day of emergency meetings. "The Security Council is in complete disarray," she reported. "China's demanding we launch everything we have at the projected enemy approach vector. Russia's talking about activating their doomsday systems." Torres didn't look away from the display. "They're fighting the last war, Sarah. Look at this. These aliens. They think like we do. They hunt like we do." Martinez stepped closer, her expression skeptical, until she saw the overlay. "My God, is that World War II German submarine tactics adapted for space combat? They're not just advanced. They're methodical. They have doctrine. Tactics, which means they can be beaten." Martinez finished. Torres finally turned from the display. "Get me a secure line to Mount Weather. Authorization code Sierra, November 803. Martinez's face went pale. "Jackson, that's a broken arrow protocol. We'd need presidential authorization just to acknowledge it exists." "Look at the casualty count from New Hudson," Torres said quietly. 500,000 dead in under an hour. If those ships reach Earth, we're looking at billions. Some protocols exist because there are things worse than breaking the rules." He reached into his desk, pulling out an ancient key card that hadn't seen light in decades. The display changed, showing a different set of data. Classified files from a program, so secret even its classification level was classified. "We've had a contingency for this kind of threat since the Cold War," Torres explained. "Not just for nuclear war or asteroids, but for something exactly like this. The old guard called it the Sleeper Protocol." Martinez studied the files, her expression moving from shock to awe. "This is impossible. The medical technology alone. We're decades away from this kind of enhancement. We're decades away from announcing it publicly," Torres corrected. "But the program has been running since before either of us was born. And now," he gestured at the replay of New Hudson's destruction, "now we need them." The general was silent for a long moment. "The Joint Chiefs won't like this. Activating a secret super soldier program. It'll look like we're staging the coup." "Then we do this through proper channels," Torres said. "I'm calling an emergency session of the Security Council. Full disclosure. Because whatever political fallout we face, it's better than the alternative." He turned back to the window, looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there, an alien fleet was moving toward Earth, probably expecting another easy victory. They beat us in space, Torres said quietly. But ground combat, ship-to-ship tactics, that's where humanity has spilled blood for centuries. If these aliens think like we do, then they can die like we do. And I know just the people to prove it. Martinez nodded, already reaching for her secure phone. I'll have the council assembled in an hour. And Jackson, God help us all if you're wrong about this. Torres watched her leave, then turned back to the recording of humanity's first major defeat in space. Soon, very soon, it would be time to show these aliens humanity's response to being backed into a corner. And it would be glorious. The elevator descended into Mount Rainier's heart, each sub-level requiring higher security clearance than the last. Dr. Eleanor Wright watched the depth counter tick past numbers that didn't officially exist, her hand tight around the ancient key card Admiral Torres had entrusted to her. Level 7 access granted, the AI announced. Welcome back, Dr. Wright. The facility hadn't changed in 30 years. The same sterile white corridors, the same soft blue emergency lighting, the same faint hum of cryogenic systems that had kept Earth's greatest secret preserved for decades. Begin revival sequence for Chamber 1, she ordered, approaching the first of 500 pods. Inside, Commander Alexandra Stone floated in suspended animation, her enhanced physiology perfectly preserved. Vital signs. Subject shows unprecedented neural activity, the medical AI reported. Brain patterns indicate continued development during stasis. Genetic markers show evolution beyond original parameters. Wright frowned. The enhanceds were designed to adapt, their DNA engineered to evolve in response to challenges. But they weren't supposed to change during cryosleep. Show me the neural mapping. The display lit up with a complex web of synaptic connections. Wright's eyes widened. Stone's neural network had grown more complex by orders of magnitude, forming patterns that shouldn't be possible in a human brain. My God, she whispered. They haven't been sleeping. They've been dreaming. The pod's cover slid open with a soft hiss. Stone's eyes snapped open immediately, alert and aware in a way that defied 30 years of suspended animation. Dr. Wright, she said, her voice strong despite decades of disuse. You've aged. And you haven't, Wright replied, helping her from the pod. How do you feel? Stone flexed her hands, testing each muscle group with methodical precision. Different. Stronger. My mind. She paused, her enhanced senses taking in every detail of the facility. I can process information faster than before. Much faster. Wright noted that Stone had already adapted her speech patterns to modern syntax, despite being in stasis since before many current language patterns emerge. The implications were staggering. We're awakening the others, Wright explained, leading Stone to the medical bay. Earth needs you, all of you. The alien attack on New Hudson, Stone said. It wasn't a question. I saw it. Wright stopped. That's impossible. You were in stasis. We all saw it. The quantum beacon. Its signal resonated with our enhanced neural patterns. We've been processing the data, running combat simulations, analyzing their tactics. Stone's eyes had a distant look. 500 minds, linked in stasis, working the problem from every angle. The medical bay's screens lit up as Stone connected to them, her neural interface displaying combat scenarios too fast for Wright to follow. Their technology is advanced, but their tactics are predictable. They think in straight lines, Doctor. Humans think in curves. More pods were opening now, other enhanced soldiers emerging with the same instant awareness as Stone. Each one moved with fluid grace that made Olympic athletes look clumsy by comparison. How many scenarios did you run? Wright asked, watching in awe as the enhanced soldiers began coordinating without speaking, their neural networks already sensing. 17,432,912. Stone answered, "We have a 97% chance of victory if we implement the right strategy. But we'll need help." "Help? You're the most advanced humans ever created." Stone smiled, the expression warming her otherwise intimidating features. "Exactly. We're still human, and humanity's greatest strength isn't in super soldiers or advanced technology. It's in the unexpected, the creative, the millions of regular people who see problems from angles we'd never consider." She turned to face the others, now numbering dozens, as more pods opened. "We're not here to save humanity, Dr. Wright. We're here to help humanity save itself." Wright watched as the enhanced soldiers began accessing the facility systems, their combined mental power already redesigning Earth's defenses. The giants were awake, and they remembered what they were made for. The real question was, what had they become while they slept? The Pentagon's combat simulation chamber had never seen anything like this. Commander Alexandra Stone moved through the holographic battlefield like water through air, her enhanced body pushing past the limits of what should be physically possible. Admiral Torres watched from the observation deck, along with 24 of Earth's top military leaders. The alien ship projections, based on data from New Hudson, fired weapon after weapon at Stone. She dodged each one with microscopic precision, her neural network processing combat data faster than the simulation computers could generate it. "Impossible," General Martinez whispered. "The targeting systems are set to maximum speed. Even a computer couldn't." "Time," Stone called out, standing perfectly still in the center of the chamber. The holographic aliens froze around her. "Would anyone like to explain the fundamental flaw in your current combat doctrine?" The room was silent. Stone gestured, and the battle replay appeared in slow motion. "You're fighting as if space has a fixed up and down," she explained. "The aliens do the same. It's not just inefficient, it's predictable." Her hands moved through the hologram, restructuring the entire battle plan. "When every direction is relative, this becomes possible." The simulation resumed. This time, Stone's movements followed impossible geometries, using the very concept of three-dimensional space as a weapon. The alien ships couldn't track her new attack patterns. More importantly, she continued, these patterns can be taught to normal human pilots. The neural enhancement helps, but the basic principles are simple geometry. Captain Sarah Rodriguez, Earth's top combat pilot, stepped forward. "Show me." Stone smiled, the first real expression she'd shown since the demonstration began. "Better yet, let me link with you. Your neural interface is compatible with mine." Rodriguez hesitated only a second before nodding. As their neural networks connected, her eyes widened. "Oh my God," she breathed. "I can see it. The patterns, the flow. It's like a dance." "Exactly," Stone said. "Human minds are already capable of this. We just need to break free of traditional combat programming." She turned to the assembled leaders. "The enhanced soldiers aren't here to fight your war. We're here to show you how to fight it yourselves." Admiral Torres stepped forward. "You've had access to our current military capabilities for less than 6 hours. What's your assessment?" Stone's expression turned serious. "Your technology isn't the problem. Your thinking is. Earth has been preparing for the wrong kind of war." She waved her hand, and the holographic display showed the New Hudson attack again. "These aliens are fighting a three-dimensional battle with two-dimensional tactics. We can use that." She modified the display, showing new ship configurations. "Your current fleet can be adapted. The principles we learned in stasis can be applied to existing systems. But more importantly," she gestured to Captain Rodriguez, who was still processing the neural link experience, "your people are ready. They just need to see the possibilities." "How long?" Torres asked. To implement the basic changes, 2 weeks. To train your forces in the new combat doctrine, a month, maybe less. Humans are remarkably adaptable when properly motivated. General Martinez frowned. The aliens could return any day. They won't, Stone said with absolute certainty. They're methodical. They'll analyze the data from New Hudson, prepare for what they think we're capable of. They'll return in exactly 47 days. How can you be sure? Because that's what I would do if I were fighting an enemy I didn't fully understand. Stone's eyes gleamed with an almost predatory intelligence, and when they come back, expecting the same easy victory, they'll find something very different waiting for them. The room was silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had just over a month to reinvent space combat, led by enhanced beings who had spent 30 years dreaming up ways to do exactly that. Captain Rodriguez finally broke the silence. When do we start? Stone's answer was simple. We already have. The Seattle Space Development Center hummed with activity at 3 in the morning. Commander Stone stood before a holographic display of Earth's newest destroyer, her enhanced mind processing design changes in real time. But it wasn't her voice that caught everyone's attention. The shield configuration is all wrong, said Maya Chen, a 23-year-old barista who'd been working the night shift at the center's coffee shop. She'd stayed late after her shift, fascinated by the work. Now she pointed at the energy distribution pattern. You're thinking about it like a wall, but it should flow like liquid. Stone turned, her enhanced senses reading every subtle detail of Maya's body language. Explain. Maya stepped forward, her hands shaking slightly but her voice steady. I've been making coffee for 3 years. When you pour hot liquid into cold milk, it creates these amazing flow patterns. If we applied the same fluid dynamics to the shield matrix. She reached for the holographic controls, then hesitated. Stone nodded encouragingly, and Maya began adjusting the energy fields. The shield pattern transformed, becoming something that looked more like a living thing than a barrier. Instead of trying to block their weapons, Maya continued, we let the shields flow around them, redirecting the energy along these currents. The room had gone silent. Stone's enhanced mind had already run 1,000 simulations of the new configuration. This is beautiful, she said finally. A perfect fusion of basic physics and human intuition. Something our enemy would never expect because it comes from such a simple human experience. That was just the beginning. Across the globe, similar scenes played out as regular humans brought their unique perspectives to the war effort. In Tokyo, a professional gamer named Hideo Tanaka revolutionized fighter control systems by suggesting they use modified gaming controllers instead of traditional pilot interfaces. Our brains are already wired for this, he explained, demonstrating combat maneuvers that even the enhanced soldiers found impressive. In Mumbai, Dr. Priya Patel, a dance choreographer turned physicist, developed new formation patterns based on classical dance movements. Space combat is a dance, she said, echoing Stone's earlier words. Every movement should flow into the next. The enhanced soldiers worked tirelessly, their evolved minds processing and refining each new idea. But their greatest contribution wasn't their superior abilities. It was their talent for recognizing and nurturing human ingenuity. We're not here to replace human creativity, Stone explained to Admiral Torres during a progress review. We're here to help it flourish. Every major breakthrough has come from regular humans, looking at problems from unexpected angles. Torres watched as Maya's shield design was tested against simulated alien weapons. The results were beyond anything they'd hoped for. How many more ideas like this are out there? He asked. Thousands, Stone replied. Maybe millions. Every human being has a unique way of seeing the world. That's something the enemy can't duplicate or predict. They're too linear. The Admiral smiled. Is that why you've been recruiting from coffee shops and gaming centers instead of military academies? The military will win this war, Stone said, but they need to think differently to do it. And sometimes the best new ideas come from people who don't know what's supposed to be impossible. As if to prove her point, a young janitor named Michael Rodriguez walked up, clutching a tablet computer. "Commander, I was cleaning near the engine lab, and I had this idea about the propulsion systems." Stone's enhanced senses had already detected the brilliance of his nervous energy. "Show me," she said simply. As Michael explained his theory, something about using vacuum energy in a way that seemed to violate several laws of physics, Stone saw Admiral Torres shaking his head in amazement. "Still think we should have kept this program classified?" she asked him quietly. Torres watched as Michael's impossible idea was added to the growing arsenal of human innovation. "I think," he said finally, "that the real secret weapon was never the enhanced soldiers. It was believing in the power of human creativity." Stone smiled. "Now you're getting it." The alien fleet emerged from hyperspace exactly where Commander Stone had predicted, just beyond Mars' orbit. Their crystalline ships moved in the same perfect formation that had devastated New Hudson, ready to deliver another methodical execution. Instead, they found empty space. "All ships, hold position," Stone broadcast from the bridge of the EDS Avalon. "Let them come to us." Her enhanced senses monitored every detail of the battlefield through the neural network that connected Earth's defenders. Captain Sarah Rodriguez, leading Echo Squadron, watched her holographic display as the alien fleet advanced. "They're moving exactly like the simulations predicted. Three-dimensional wolf pack formation." "Of course they are," Stone replied, a hint of satisfaction in her voice. "They're fighting the last war, just like we used to." She turned to her weapons officer, former barista Maya Chen. "Start the dance." Maya's fingers flew over the modified gaming controller that now served as the ship's combat interface. The space between the two fleets lit up with thousands of holographic projections, perfect copies of Earth's defense fleet, each one a digital ghost created by Hideo Tanaka's gaming algorithms. The alien fleet reacted instantly, their weapons carving through the holograms with surgical precision. But each destroyed projection split into two more, creating an ever-shifting maze of false targets. "They're confused," Rodriguez reported, her squadron hidden behind the new shield technology that made them invisible to alien sensors. "Their formation is starting to break." Stone nodded. "They're following their combat doctrine. Eliminate all targets before advancing. But they can't process the chaos. Now show them what human creativity really means." Echo Squadron struck first. Rodriguez led her fighters through maneuvers based on classical Indian dance, their ships moving in flowing patterns that the alien targeting systems couldn't predict. Each fighter's shields, designed by Maya, redirected enemy fire like water around rocks. "First blood," Rodriguez called out as her squadron's attack run claimed 3 alien ships. The crystalline vessels shattered into beautiful, deadly fragments. The alien fleet's response was immediate and predictable. They tightened their formation, creating an impenetrable defense grid. It would have been perfect against traditional attacks. But Stone had been waiting for this. "Michael, light them up." Michael Rodriguez, the former janitor now serving as chief engineer, activated his revolutionary propulsion system. The Avalon and her sister ships seemed to blink out of existence, reappearing inside the alien formation using his impossible drive that bent space itself. "Fire everything," Stone ordered. The Earth ships released their full arsenal, enhanced weapons designed by the combined genius of human innovation and enhanced intelligence. The alien fleet's perfect formation became their perfect trap, each destroyed ship taking 2 more with it in a chain reaction of crystalline destruction. "They're trying to regroup," Maya reported, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Pattern suggests they're preparing for emergency FTL jump. Stone's enhanced mind had already calculated their likely escape vector. Not today. All ships execute Maneuver Phoenix. Earth's fleet move is one, their ships dancing through space in a pattern that looked like chaos, but was actually perfect harmony. Former game designer Hideo Tanaka had based it on the final boss battle from his favorite video game. The remaining alien ships found themselves caught in a three-dimensional net of human ingenuity. Their attempts to calculate an escape route were thwarted by the sheer unpredictability of human combat evolution. Enemy fleet is down to 20% strength, Rodriguez reported. They're breaking formation. Each ship is trying to plot its own escape course. And that's their final mistake, Stone said quietly. They never learned to trust each other. She opened a channel to all Earth ships. End this. The battle's final minutes were a testament to everything humanity had achieved in 6 short weeks. Gaming algorithms predicted enemy movement. Coffee-inspired shields absorbed impossible energy. Dance-based attack patterns struck from every angle. When the last alien ship shattered, the silence that filled the command channel was heavy with meaning. Humanity hadn't just won. They'd revolutionized space combat using nothing but human creativity and determination. Send word to Earth, Stone ordered, though she knew the enhanced soldiers monitoring the battle had already done so. Tell them. She paused, looking at her bridge crew. A barista, a janitor, a gamer, and a dance instructor turned combat specialist. Tell them this was just the beginning. The captured alien flagship hung in high Earth orbit, its crystalline surface reflecting sunlight like a massive diamond. Commander Stone stood in its central chamber, her enhanced mind processing the alien language displayed on the ship's still active screens. Their database is extensive, she reported to the holographic images of Earth's leadership. The species calls themselves the hegemony. They've been cleansing the galaxy for over 10,000 years. Maya Chen, now chief of xenotechnology, worked at a console she'd modified with her fluid dynamic interface. Their historical records are disturbing. Each civilization they encountered was given a single test, one chance to prove their worth. New Hudson was our test, Admiral Torres said quietly, and in their eyes, we failed. No, Stone corrected, her eyes moving rapidly as she processed more data. We did something worse. We surprised them. She waved her hand, and the chamber filled with holographic star maps. Look at their previous encounters. Every other species followed a predictable pattern when attacked. Michael Rodriguez, studying the ship's engine core, looked up. They either surrendered immediately or fought back using conventional tactics. Exactly, Stone confirmed. But we adapted. We took their technology and improved it in ways they thought impossible. We changed our entire combat doctrine in weeks. The hegemony has never encountered a species that could evolve so quickly. The star maps showed 17 different civilizations, each marked with a date of cleansing. But it was the additional data that caused gasps among the observing leaders. They're still out there, Sarah Rodriguez said, her voice tight with emotion. Survivor colonies from each species hidden away on remote worlds. The hegemony keeps them as study subjects. Stone's enhanced senses detected the spike in heart rates among the human leaders. Anger, determination, resolve. There's more, Maya said, her modified interface revealing deeper layers of the alien database. The hegemony isn't just afraid of us. They're afraid of what we represent. Their entire society is built on the idea that evolution must be controlled, directed, perfected. And we just proved them wrong, Michael added, understanding dawning in his eyes. We showed that chaos, human creativity, can produce better results than their controlled evolution. Stone nodded. Their next attack won't be about destroying Earth. It will be about destroying the idea of us. They're gathering their entire fleet. She displayed the tactical data. Over 10,000 ships, converging on our solar system. Admiral Torres leaned forward in his holographic projection. How long do we have? 3 months, Stone replied. But that's not the real question we should be asking. She turned to face the assembled leaders, both physical and holographic. The question is, what are we going to do about those survivor colonies? The chamber fell silent. Everyone present understood the choice before them. Earth could fortify, prepare for the coming battle, focus solely on human survival. Or, we can't leave them, Maya said finally. We know what it's like to lose a colony. New Hudson. She trailed off, but her meaning was clear. The enhanced soldiers were created to protect humanity, Stone said. But perhaps humanity's role is to protect others. We have 3 months. We have their technology. And most importantly, we have human ingenuity. Sarah Rodriguez stepped forward. If we free those colonies, we'll have allies when the hegemony comes. Not just additional ships, but new perspectives, new ways of thinking. It's not just strategic, Michael added. It's right. Admiral Torres looked around at his fellow leaders, one by one. They nodded. Commander Stone, he said finally, what's our first move? Stone smiled, her enhanced mind already formulating plans. First, we show the galaxy that the age of the hegemony is over. Then we show them what humanity does best. Uniting different peoples, different ideas, different dreams into something stronger than the sum of its parts. She looked out at Earth, blue and beautiful below them. The hegemony wanted to test us. Fine. Let's show them what humans do when we decide to change the rules of the game. The bridge of the EDA's Avalon hummed with activity as Commander Stone studied the tactical display. The last 3 months had changed the galaxy forever. Behind her ship, a fleet of 10,000 vessels represented not just Earth, but 7 different species liberated from hegemony control. Matriarch's Zenith ships are in position, Maya Chent reported, her fluid dynamic interface now incorporating alien technology from the Arthan species they'd freed last month. Their crystal web formation complements our defense grid perfectly. The Pax battle dancers have synchronized with Echo Squadron, Sarah Rodriguez added from her position, leading the combined fighter groups. They've adapted their bioluminescent communication systems to our neural networks. Stone nodded, her enhanced mind processing the beautiful complexity of their allied fleet. Each rescued species had brought their own genius to the fight. The Arthan's living crystal ships, the Pax's light-based combat coordination, the Novel's quantum mathematics, all of it woven together by human innovation and creativity. Hegemony fleet detected. Michael Rodriguez called out from engineering. They're using a new formation, something we haven't seen before. They're learning, Stone said with a hint of pride. Finally, the hegemony's massive armada emerged from FTL travel, their ships arranged in a pattern that would have been devastating against their previous enemies. But this time, they faced something unprecedented. A coalition of species united not by force or fear, but by choice and creativity. All ships execute Operation Renaissance, Stone broadcast to the Allied fleet. The name had been Maya's idea, a rebirth of freedom in the galaxy. The battle that followed would be studied for centuries to come. Human ingenuity mixed with alien technology in ways the hegemony could never have predicted. Maya's fluid shields, enhanced by Arthan crystal technology, flowed like liquid light. Rodriguez's fighters danced through space alongside Pax warriors, their movements choreographed by a fusion of human and alien art. They're trying to adapt, Michael reported, as the hegemony fleet attempted to counter their tactics. But they can't keep up with the rate of innovation. He was right. Every time the hegemony adjusted their strategy, the Allied fleet had already moved on to something new, Former baristas worked with alien scientists to create new defense systems mid-battle, gaining algorithms combined with quantum mathematics to predict and counter enemy movements before they happened. This is what they feared, Stone realized as she watched the hegemony's perfect formations break apart under the chaos of creative warfare. Not just humanity, but this species working together, combining their strengths, creating something greater than the sum of their parts. The hegemony's command ship, twice the size of any other vessel in space, moved to the front of their fleet. Their supreme leader's voice boomed across all communication channels. "You could have had perfection," the alien voice declared. "Order, structure, purpose." Stone's response was calm, but carried the weight of human determination. "We choose freedom. We choose chaos. We choose to create our own purpose." The final phase of the battle wasn't just a victory. It was a statement. Every species contributed, their unique perspectives creating attack patterns that redefined space combat. When the hegemony command ship finally shattered under the combined creativity of 7 different civilizations, the message was clear. The age of enforced evolution was over. In the aftermath, as the remaining hegemony ships surrendered one by one, Stone stood on the Avalon's bridge with her crew. A barista, a pilot, an engineer, and representatives from 7 different species. "What now?" Maya asked, looking out at the star-filled space that suddenly seemed full of possibilities. Stone smiled. "Now we do what humans do best. We build something new, together." The enhanced soldier looked at her display, where reports were already coming in from across the galaxy. More hidden colonies discovered, more species reaching out for freedom, more opportunities to show that the greatest strength in the universe wasn't perfect order, but the beautiful chaos of cooperation and creativity. The hegemony thought that they were creating perfect order, Stone said. Instead, they created the conditions for their own obsolescence. They'd brought together species who would never have met otherwise. And now, she gestured to the stars beyond the viewport. Now we show the galaxy what real evolution looks like. Not the controlled, sterile version they imagined, but the messy, creative, wonderful reality of life finding its own path forward. Maya's console lit up with messages from a dozen different species, all asking to join the new coalition. Stone's enhanced mind could already see the possibilities unfolding. A galaxy united not by force, but by the simple human idea that everyone deserves a chance to create their own destiny. The silent night that had started with New Hudson's destruction had led to a dawn no one could have predicted, and it was beautiful.